Hey guys, I've been gone for a long time and I'm coming back after being a full-time artist since 2018 and I have things to say. I'm going to start a whole new series of So You Want to Learn ZBRUSH and then kind of different topics after that. Here's the first one. So you want to learn ZBRUSH to make money. This is what I'm doing. I feel like at this point I have good things to say. Obviously it's my experience, but that kind of goes without saying. So let's get into the first point. I mean this point in like a genuine, non-cheeky way, but it's gonna come across a little cheeky. Do you want to make art or do you want to make money? I truly mean this. So I have a second Patreon where I teach how to 3D sculpt, and a lot of them want to be full-time artists. And as I start teaching these, they're brand new beginners, how to sculpt, it becomes very clear they don't really like making art, weirdly enough. They like finishing art, but everything else, the way they phrase their questions, it's more like an inconvenience. They're not excited to learn. They just want to get to the point where they can sell stuff. A good way to know if this is you is if you have no direction of what you even want to make. Like I came into it knowing I like fantasy at least. These students I'm talking about that are just in it for the money, they kind of ask questions like, what should I be making? What sells the best? That's not the motivation you should have. It really should be like, I enjoy making these things. I like it so much. It's all I want to do. That's where I'm at. And then you can make money off of it, and that lets you do it all the time. So just keep that in mind as we go forward. Make sure you actually want to make art. Sounds obvious. It's worth having the question because this might not even pay off, for being totally honest. That last point can be a little bit of a downer, so I do want to come in and say it's totally possible. I want to be as transparent as possible and help you get to that point if that's your goal. Since 2018, I have made over six figures. I think it's somewhere around $250,000. It is absolutely possible. I do have a niche, and I did come in on this niche, 3D printable models, as it was growing popularity. So I think if I was going to do it starting today from scratch, it would be a little bit harder for me, but still not impossible by any means. So keep that in mind. I didn't have any formal training. I really didn't consider myself an artist. I considered myself a musician. I know it's a form of art, but bear with me here. I just really enjoyed it, and it kind of just turned into what it is now. I want to start with what not to do, okay? Again, I've taught dozens of students at this point, probably a couple hundred. And of those, I've had 3 that have gone on to be full-time artists as well. They're super awesome and nice, and they're all over the world. I think one's in Greece, one's in the United States, and the other one I think is in Germany. Anyway, all of these students did not make these mistakes. I think it's very important. Number 1, do not go out and just buy the full version of ZBrush. I don't understand this. The full version of ZBrush is $900, and as of right now, they were bought by new companies. I don't know if perpetual licenses will be a thing in the future, but as of now they are. It's $900. Like, there's a 1 month free trial. 1 month is a long time. If you know you're gonna go into this like, oh, I'm a professional, maybe don't like drop $1,000 right from the get-go. Enjoy the 1 month free trial. See if you will actually even do this once a week, twice a week. Just be honest with yourself. And shortly following up with that is do not buy a professional grade tablet. I have this Antique. It's like a couple grand. I built up to it. I started with a like $60 tablet, then got like a $300 one, then the couple $1,000 one. And honestly, like you don't even need to do that. I did that, one, because it's a great tax deduction and it's a nice luxury. It works great. It's a luxury, you know? But it feels like a luxury because I started with the small tablet. If you just start with the most comfortable thing, like I don't even know if you'd appreciate it or even know like what you're looking for. So if you don't like the non-display tablet because the disconnect between, you don't look at your hand, you look at the screen. If that feels really weird, I totally understand that. But you can get like a good display tablet for a couple $100. Just don't drop the thousands. I guess if you're just super bougie rich and you just have all the money in the world, go for it. I don't live in that world. I don't think most of you guys live in that world. So again, good advice on what not to do. Okay, let's finish this video up with the more useful stuff. What to do? You want to start making money off of this. Maybe you have made art before, like 3D models, maybe you haven't. This kind of applies either way. Number 1, practice. I don't mean this in the sense of like, oh, because you want to get better. I mean this in the sense of like, make stuff. If you don't make it a habit to create, you won't. Simple as that. I've had times where I was either sick or out of town where I didn't create for a couple weeks, And I come back and it is tough to get back into it. You don't have to like create a finished model every day, but like maybe an ugly sketch. And I do mean ugly. I will make a whole video about my sketchbooks because I know a lot of artists have beautiful sketchbooks. I'm not one of them. My 3D skills are way better than my 2D skills. I know that's not a great fact. I am working on getting better at 2D skills, but the reality is you don't have to make good art to practice. Just practice. Get in the habit. Be honest with yourself. Do you even like making art? Back to my first point. Moving on. Find your niche. This is way easier said than done. All of these are easier said than done. It's hard work, you know? So I'm in 3D printable models for D&D. I did not scope out the market and be like, that is where the money's at. I didn't know. Like, I grew up playing games like Dragon Age and just anything fantasy. I just love. And I didn't even play D&D until I've been doing this full time for like a year. I just saw these are people that love fantasy models. I mean, really a little bit of anything. It's just tabletop. And I have my degree in mechanical engineering, so I was already super interested in 3D printing and practicing with that. And this was perfect because it kind of joined the two. I can take my art and then make it a physical thing in my own living room. So it kind of progressed really naturally, but you don't have to do that. I have a student that loves making boring things, to put it simply. They make couches, lamps, and honestly, good for them. This is something they really enjoy. And there is a ton of money in that. Go to like Turbo Squid, 3D Trader. Anyway, and you can upload these models. They're just individual assets and people buy those up to then put in their own games they're developing. It's a little more intense than just 3D modeling for 3D printable stuff because your topology matters, a lot of other stuff matters. But again, you don't have to do what I'm doing. There's a lot of different niches within the 3D world that you could explore and then make your little path. Another one, develop an online presence. Okay, I want to preface this with follower count does not mean customers. I have an artist I love and she has like 50,000 followers on Instagram, I think. And like, doesn't make a ton of money though, because like, I only have like 500 followers on Instagram to be clear. It doesn't mean the same thing. So you don't need a big presence online. You just need something so they can find you. So my Patreon has less than 1,000 and my Kickstarters generally have less than 300 backers. So over the course of a year, I think I'm only getting money from a couple thousand people, which don't get me wrong, it's a lot. But it's not like tens of thousands of people. You know, it's very doable. The online presence doesn't need to be perfect either. In fact, work in progress and sketches tend to do better than finished products anyway. People really want to see like, where is this coming from? Who are you? That kind of stuff. And again, if that feels unnatural to you because you're an introvert, I get it. Just don't be dishonest. You don't push yourself to be something you're not, okay? There's a lot of people out there that will connect with you for different things. So you might as well put your true self forward to get the right audience. I know some artists that put forward this big, like, chirpy persona, and people will see them in person, and they'll be like, oh, they were so rude to me in person. But in reality, that's just how they normally are. They're super introverted, you know? And so I recommend just be super honest online and just share bits and pieces of like, oh, this is my desk today. Here's a sketch. Here's this. Just get something going so someone has eyes on your art. And then following that up with consistency. No one's gonna care if you come on hot for 2 months being an artist. Sorry. Even a year, they might not care. But get yourself in your own habit. It has something to look back on and feel proud of. Because if you're not consistent, I know it's not gonna go anywhere. That's the one thing out of all of this that I think is true across whatever kind of art you're pursuing to do it full time. And again, I want a small detail here. If you're doing this for industry, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not in industry. I'm a freelancer. So if you want to go like work for BioWare, I don't know. But everything else, I think this is pretty true for. This is just the first video in the series. If you have questions, let me know. I do not have all the answers, but something worked for me, obviously, because I'm still here. So if I can help you in any way, I'd like to. There's plenty of room at the table, so to speak, and I like connecting with other artists. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.